I now recognize Representative Lawler from New York.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As one of the co-chairs of the Moldova caucus, along with Rep. Ross, it's truly been remarkable to see the Moldovan government's transformation from a pro-Russian kleptocratic regime to a pro-democracy, pro-Western government under President Sandu. And the work that has been done not only to reform the judiciary, but to prosecute and apply sanctions with the cooperation of the United States government on Russian oligarchs has been an important step forward. And currently Moldova is seeking EU membership, which I think is another important and positive step towards strengthening not only their democracy, but strengthening their economy moving forward. But it doesn't come without its own challenges. Mr. Smith or Mr. Huck, what is the U.S. doing to prioritize Moldova through programs such as IMET, FMF, and other accounts within the International Security Assistance Program at the State Department? And how much has Moldova received through these programs in recent years?
Thank you very much for the question, Representative Lawler. Since Russia's full-scale invasion, our FMF budget for Moldova has increased tenfold. We've used that funding not only to help them improve their combat capability as a military force, but also training and education has been a cornerstone of our assistance. We've focused not only on helping them develop their officer corps, but also the non-commissioned officer corps, which is so essential to a strong and resilient military. Our assistance has extended even beyond the military and, of course, focused on our close cooperation with the border guards to help strengthen their border as they face pressure emanating from the Russians. And also, we have worked closely with law enforcement in a deep partnership to help Moldova meet the challenge to their security emanating from what the Russians are trying to sponsor inside the country as well.
Putin and many within his government have made it clear that certainly if Ukraine were to fall, Moldova would be in their sights. How concerned is the administration about that?
As President Sandu has stated herself, the defenders of Ukraine are not just defending Ukraine. They're defending Moldova and they're defending Europe. We take very seriously the threats emanating from Russia, both in terms of its illegal invasion of Ukraine, but also the threats it poses for the wider region. And that's why we have aligned our assistance in support of Ukraine to ensure they prevail on the battlefield and can deter future Russian aggression.
And given that, has the administration directed any ERIP funding towards Moldova, and are you planning to in this upcoming fiscal year?
We have directed funding from the supplementals for Ukraine to Moldova. Some of that funding has delivered instrumental transformations in Moldova, one of which we talked about a little earlier, which is the energy transformation. Moldova went from being 100% reliant on Russian gas, for example, now to buying it on the open market according to EU norms and EU practices. Our assistance was essential in meeting that objective. And it's had positive results even at a practical level for the United States. Just last April, for the first time ever in history, Moldova bought LNG exported from the United States. These are the types of achievements we've been able to reach using those resources.
Given Moldova's plan and focus on EU ascension, do you see a future where Moldova applies for NATO membership, especially given their relationship with our NATO ally, Romania?
It's an interesting question, sir. Thank you. They are constitutionally, as you know, a neutral country, but they have been a member of the Partnership for Peace for 30 years. And they have actively participated in NATO training and in some peacekeeping operations as well, including contributing forces to the NATO peacekeeping operation in Kosovo. This will be a decision for the Moldovan people. But just as with EU accession, if the United States is partnering with Moldova, we will support them on their Euro-Atlantic path, should they choose that course. For now, we're focused on the EU.
The administration describes corruption in Moldova as endemic, but I don't think that's something that we should accept. Can you describe why the administration feels Moldova has endemic corruption, and what are we doing to help change this narrative?
We assess the situation in terms of corruption in Moldova has improved significantly since Maya Sandu came to office in 2020. But we still face legacy corruption that Russia uses to try to manipulate decision-making inside the Moldovan government and advance its narrative, particularly when it looks to target elections and the upcoming EU referendum. We see corruption that remains in the rule of law sector, in the judicial sector, and we're working closely to use our assistance and engagement to help the Moldovans tackle it.
Well, to that end, it would be critical to be engaged in election monitoring and ensure that the Russians do not interfere in Moldova's elections.
Fully concur,
Thank
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Lawler.